3, 2, 1.
Eric, how about we unmute yourself there, Eric, so we can get this show going live because we don't have Eric talking. He's muted. Eric, you're muted. Hello, Eric. Can he not hear me?
Yep, I don't guess he can. Hey, Eric.
So anyway,
Hey, bro.
welcome, Fire Phobia, to the. Eric, there we go.
There he is.
There
You're
he is. Muted now.
Yeah, what I was trying to do is I was trying to make a point with that. I could hear you guys loud and clear. I just have myself muted here, and I don't know. What are you doing, Kaffer?
Let's see if we can read lips.
Yeah. No, what I was doing was I was trying to make the point, and because this kind of came up to me this week. And oh, by the way, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. We're here every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're also broadcasting live on the Global Patriot Radio Network. And I appreciate you guys stepping in and trying to do that. But here's the point I was trying to make, because I was thinking about this after I got a message last night. You know, we spend a lot of time trying to offer proofs to Muslims that Islam is false. And we could sit here and talk all day, and it'd be just like, okay, I can't hear what you're telling me. And the reason why I can't hear what you're telling me is because I don't want to hear what you're telling me. I don't want to hear that, because what I have is the truth. And this has kind of motivated me. I know this is kind of a weird way to do it, and I apologize, folks. But it kind of motivated me to actually go back to the Bible and see what Christ taught us in the Bible when we are dealing with other people. Because I want to compare today the Christ of the Bible, what he taught us, and the Allah of the Quran and what he teaches Muslims. And I do have a long laundry list here, but you guys are more than welcome to comment. And as a matter of fact, I want you to comment as we go along.
Can I comment first?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. A little heads up in the back chat might have been a little helpful for the start of this show.
I know, and I know, and after I did that, I thought, you're doing these guys wrong, because they're trying to do the right thing here and help you out, and I should have said something about that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah. But the thing is that when we do sit here and talk to Muslims, they're not going to hear you. They don't hear us. They don't want to hear us. Why? Because they think that they have the truth. And so when you say that, hey, we love Jesus, we don't worship Jesus, but we respect Jesus. How can you not respect Muhammad? How can you not respect Jesus? How can you not respect Muhammad? How can you not respect Jesus? 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 How can you not Well, today that's what we're going to do. We're going to show hate speech and what hate speech really looks like. So, what I want to do is I want to first off start in the book of Matthew. Do you guys have any idea where I'm going to go? Of course you do. We're going to go to the Sermon on the Mount.
Ah,
Yes. And this is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, teaching the multitudes about the kingdom of heaven and how we're to treat other human beings. And he says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you, and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city is not set, or a city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all those in the house. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." So when we look at the teachings of Christ, does this sound like anything that Muhammad taught? Anything at all? Anybody?
no,
Anybody?
absolutely not.
Well, first of all, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yep.
I
First
can
of
hear
all,
you.
amen to that. Secondly, no. So, first of all, amen to that, and no, absolutely not. Not in there. Not found. Has nothing to do with it. Absolutely. Actually, what you find in the other book is an antithesis of what you just read. Total and complete antithesis.
Hmm. And that's what we're going to. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate today,
That's
right?
all I wanted to say. I hope you heard that.
Yeah, yeah, we heard you. Thank you. I can see you waiting for a flight. Weather's not looking too good there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of Houston. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of Houston. The rain's supposed to clear soon, so we'll see. But I didn't see the Bloody Mary Mom. I didn't get a chance. I'm disappointed. But oh well. Maybe next trip. So like,
Maybe
continue on.
next time. Look at the bright side.
Yeah, continue on. Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
I can show him, the meaning of those verses. Wait, and I can show him, the meaning of those verses you just quoted. Okay,
yeah.
just serious. Go ahead, continue on.
Okay. So when we look at the Quran, I see a couple of other people joined us. DL and Isa. Thank you for coming. Let me show my screen here because I have created kind of an extensive file. I don't want to say a file, but a document that has all kinds of classifications of non-believers. Now, if we compare that, let's compare that to what Jesus said. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are those pure in heart. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you and you falsely for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. You have heard it, that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of judgment. But I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Racha, which means fool, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever says you fool shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and when we start looking at what Christ taught, and we compare this to what Allah, the God of the Bible, thinks of non-believers, we are apes. So when they took pride in that which they were forbidden, we said, unto them, be ye apes, despised and loathed. And then over here it says, to him his wrath had fallen, and whose sort Allah hath turned some to apes and swine. Oh, swine. Hold on. Swine, hold on. What the heck I got back here? Hold on. Here's my new little picture I decided to put back here. For swine of the humankind. Sorry, couldn't resist. And then we're pigs. So I tell you, be of a worse case than their fathers for retribution with Allah, who's in this case of him whom Allah hath cursed, him on whom his wrath hath fallen, and whose sort Allah hath turned some to apes and swine. And then we're asses, and we're frightened asses, the vilest of animals in Allah's sight. Lo, the worst of beasts in Allah's sight are the ungrateful who will not believe. What about losers? Yes. We make mischief on the earth. Boy, we've heard that before. Causing corruption, making mischief. Those are who are the losers. And who disbelieveth in the word and given the scripture, those whom are given the scripture, who read it in right reading, and those believe in it, and whoever disbelieve in it, those are the losers. So if you don't believe in the Quran, you're a loser, don't you see? And who seeketh as a religion will not be accepted him, he will be a loser. And then our hearts are diseased, don't you see? And our hearts is a disease, and Allah increases their disease. So not only do we have a disease in our heart, evidently God is increasing the disease in our heart, because a painful doom is theirs because they lie. And thou seest those in whose heart is a disease, So we can see a pattern here. I don't know if does anybody else notice a pattern growing here. Where would we expect this to come from? Would this be from the Christ of the Bible?
Or straight from the pits of hell?
Exactly. To me, when you try to compare and contrast this, you're saying, well, we love Jesus, and we love Jesus' teaching. We obey Jesus' teaching. No, you don't. Let me show you how you don't. Go ahead.
I agree too. Like when a Muslim says, "Oh, we honor Jesus," no, you don't. You dishonor his very person. Like if I was to say that my wife was the lowest of the low, the worst person in the world, I'm not flattering my wife by any means at that point, because I'm describing her in a way that she is not. Right? So Muslims, when you describe Jesus, our Lord and Savior, in a way that he is not, you are disrespecting his very person, not respecting that person.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're describing somebody that doesn't exist. When we think of the Christ of the Bible, and you compare the Christ of the Bible to the Jesus of the Quran, not the Quran, the Quran, you have two entirely different people. You have somebody in the Quran that really doesn't seem to know anything other than that has a prophet coming after him by the name of Ahmed, and he creates little birds for really no apparent reason, is speaking from the cradle because he's been given a book that nobody has ever mentioned in all of human history up to the 7th century. It's kind of hard to believe that they would even try to insist that the Christ of the Bible is the same as the Jesus of the Quran, especially when they're commanded not to call God their Father. Do not call God their Father, albeit, or how's that verse goes? Howbeit God could not be the father of anyone. Something about taking a son. Does anybody know what verse I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's basically they're saying that Allah cannot be a father of any type because he does not beget, nor is he begotten. Right.
Yeah. So if we just,
I also want to stay here too. There's a really good argument in the Quran to say that Mary is greater than Allah, because Allah states that he cannot have an offspring unless he had a consort. Specifically in the Quran, it says Allah does not have any children because he doesn't have a consort, like a spouse or a wife. But Mary didn't need to have a consort to have a child. Mary had the child all on her own through miraculous birth. So therefore, in this instance, Allah needs a consort to have a child, but Mary does not need a consort to have a child. Therefore, Mary is greater than Allah.
I love that deductive reasoning.
So
If
selective
A, if B, if
omnipotence.
C. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Who was talking?
Selective omnipotence.
There you
Yes.
go. There you go. Yeah, and the point that I was leading to is that okay, if Christ or if Jesus did not have a father, and even the Quran says they did not have a father, we are commanded not to call God our Father. But yet, in the model prayer, I mean, if we think about this, just think about
Lord's
God,
Prayer.
Jesus is teaching us how to pray. And so, what is the first thing that Jesus teaches us on how to pray? He
Our
teaches
Father.
us. No, it says, "Our God that art in heaven, your name is Allah, and your kingdom is up." No, you're exactly right, Ed. I mean, it's the first two words out of our mouths when we are to begin a prayer to God, our Father. So, how can you say you follow the teachings of Jesus when you will not say that God is your Father? How can you do that? How can you be so hypocritical, obtuse, or in this case, dishonest and desperate? How can that possibly be? I'm going to look this verse up
They
that Don.
follow the teachings of Isa.
Yeah, it's somebody that doesn't exist. We had a great discussion on this one time as far as where did the name of Jesus come from? Have you guys ever talked about that before? 101.
I know
Yeah.
where it comes from.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It comes from it's the heralding of the prophet Joshua, who takes
Yep.
and takes over the land on because the name his name was originally Hoshua, and he gets the Yud from God's name put in front of it, and the Israelites of that time were looking for a savior that would save Israel. So I mean that's the name is God's salvation or God's save.
Yeah, and then when you converted it over into Greek, it became Isis, which is where they get the Isa from. If you really look at the Greek and see how they pronounced it, it sounded like Isa, but it was Isis.
Yeah, from the Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm looking up the Arabic name for
Yesu.
Jesus.
It should
Yasu.
be it should be Yesu.
So,
Because it comes from Yehoshua to Yeshua, of course. I'm not quite sure of the Aramaic, but it's pretty close to Yesu.
Yeshua is the Aramaic.
Oh, is that the
Yeshua.
Aramaic?
Yeah,
Okay,
the
yeah,
Aramaic
there you
is
go.
Yeshua, and
Yeah, that'd be Yesu.
Yasu is the um, uh, is the Arabic. There we go. I had a
This is
brain fart. I saw John popped in there. Hi, John. It's good to see you, buddy.
Yes, hi.
Hey, John, answer me that. You can
yeah,
answer.
that's what I was gonna say.
How apropos, perfect timing, John. Okay, if I was to translate directly the word Jesus from, or no, let me from Yeshua, which is the Arabic name for Jesus, or not Arabic, Aramaic. Do I have you confused yet? Good. If I was to translate the Aramaic name Yeshua to Arabic, what would that name be?
It's Yeshua. All Arabic Bibles, all translations, it's Yeshua. Never was Isa. Never was Isa. And
Okay.
I give another example. Ishmael, it becomes in Arabic Ismail. The same, just she becomes S. Yeshua, it becomes Yeshua. That's it. Never was Isa. Isa, it's I believe my thought that Muhammad took it from the Greek name of Jesus, Isos. He take Isos and call it Isa. This is my belief. This is my thinking.
I think I
Wait.
know why.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because we understand that Tatian wrote the Diatessaron. The Diatessaron was the four Gospels put into one book. Now, in the Diatessaron, Tatian would have used the Greek translation of Jesus's name, and probably would have been translated into Arabic into the Diatessaron, especially the one that would have been in Arabia at that time. Now we know Waraka, that would have been Khadijah's uncle. He was actually reading and translating the Christian scriptures as well. So we have indication that in Arabia at that time, the Diatessaron would have been readily available. Waraka would have been reading it, of course, as well. So it only makes sense that from the Greek manuscripts, the name was translated into the Arabic through the Greek, and that's the only way that Muhammad would have understood who this Isa person was, is through the Greek translation into the Arabic.
Okay, so the name Isa is derived from the Greek translation, which would have pre-existed Muhammad in the Arabian Peninsula, because that was the lingua franca, versus the true name of Jesus, which would be John. What was it? Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
Yeshua.
Okay, so there you have. They even have the wrong name of Jesus, let alone don't even have the correct teachings of Jesus. And for those of you just joining us, what we're talking about today is we've gone back and we've looked at what Jesus taught in the Beatitudes, in the Sermon on the Mount. And what we're doing is we're taking those lessons that he gave us on how we're to view other human beings and other people and treat other people, and what our expectations should be if we what our expectations should be if we are persecuted, because we know the persecution is coming, and it has always been with the church. And then we're comparing that to what Muhammad taught or Allah taught in the Quran. And we can clearly see that you have two completely different people. You have two completely different teachings here. So if you're going to try to say that if you're going to say that you love Jesus and that if you follow his teachings, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to throw out a lot of these verses that we find in the Quran. For an example, let's go back to the Quran, shall we? Yes, we shall. Let's go to verse 171, where Allah is in the likeness of those who disbelieve. Now, here's the key thing. This is the key. This is a key idea that keeps coming up time and time and time again. Those who disbelieve. Now, he's not speaking about those who disbelieve in God. That's not who he's talking about here. He's talking about those who disbelieve in the message of Muhammad. So those people who disbelieve in the message of Muhammad, not the Bible, not the Greeks, not the Jews, not the Christians, but those people who disbelieve in Muhammad, those who disbelieve in relation to the messenger, is as the likeness of one who calleth unto that which heareth not, except they shout and cry, deaf, dumb, blind, therefore they have no sense. Oh, so we're not only deaf, dumb, and blind, we don't have any sense either, because we will not believe in a book that is demonstrably false. And then we get to here again, you do not believe, so you're a foolish one, and we are also ignorant. But also, if you look over here in 437, who hoard their wealth and enjoin of harvests on others. What does that mean, harvest? Who knows what that means?
Enjoin avarice.
Greed, greatness, materialism. What? Covet?
Avarice.
Yes.
That's what it means. It does. It means a bit more than kind of greed. It's a bit more.
Okay.
It's
all right, and then hide that which is.
It's almost like coveting. That would be another.
Another way of it. Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
But look what they do for those who disbelieve. For disbelievers, we. Oh, there's the plural form of Allah there. We. Does he have a mouse in his pocket? Prepare a shameful doom. Look at there. So we get a shameful doom, And this one, is kind of a, I'm not even going to go there.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to read out 70-21.
70-21. No, I'm not doing it. Not going to do it. There's just too many things in life that you just don't need to even be going there. Let's see. I don't care about that. Our transgressors, yes. And then we're misleading those who are transgressors, and most of them are wrongdoers. Make mischief. Where is the one? 98:6. Where is that one? Can somebody read that for me real quick? 98:6.
What, sir? 98 verse 6.
Yeah, 98:6.
Yeah, give me a second here to get to it.
Worst of all
Here it is.
creatures.
Here it is. Yeah. Lo, those who disbelieve. Now, the people who disbelieve. Now, that would be me. I do not believe that Muhammad was a prophet of any type. That would probably be everybody in.
Not even a false prophet. Not even a false prophet.
A false what?
Yeah,
You
I
said
believe
you
he
didn't
was a
believe
false
Muhammad
prophet.
was a prophet. Yeah, you said you didn't believe he was a prophet in any sense.
Oh, so I don't believe that he was a false prophet. That's a good question because
that's a good catch.
I'm thinking that no, I don't even think he was a false prophet because at least some false prophets have some type of legitimacy. I don't think that guy had any type of legitimacy.
I don't think so. Where does this ever say false prophets have some legitimacy?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
give him legitimacy.
Right. If he's a false prophet, he's falsehood. Meaning anything that he says about God is falsehood.
Yeah.
That makes him a false prophet.
But let's look at what he says. You're right, Connie. You're right, Connie.
Well, DL started it, and he's true. DL made the point.
Okay. So if I was to say that he is a false prophet, that would say that he was prophesied. Well, I guess if we're gonna look at it as a common definition, these people who say that they are prophets but aren't prophets, so that makes them a false prophet. So I guess you're right. All right. So he
and in the Hadiths, 230 or 250 years later, they made him to prophesy a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
That would be by the later Abbasid period. So that would be later. That would be later redaction anyway.
Yeah. So the more they're trying to edify Muhammad, the more they're putting him in the place of being a false prophet.
Well, I like the point. I like the point that Dominic's making there. He's saying that they redacted a lot of these prophecies and a lot of these things back onto the original message, inserting these things into other people's mouths through the science of hadith.
Right. They made it worse for Muhammad. I mean, when they're trying to make it better for him, they're actually digging his pit deeper.
Well, he was. Yeah. But here's the one that I really want to focus on. Is this one right here? 98:6. Lo, those who disbelieve. That would be all of us here in the chat. Among the people of the scripture, that would be people of Christians and Jews, and the idolaters. Oh, well, at least he threw us in with the idolaters. Well, no. Well, okay. Today we say that. Yeah. We will abide in the fire of hell. He sounds like a good Baptist preacher, doesn't he? Something like fire and brimstone. You're gonna go to hell.
Like Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah, Jonathan. There you go, Jonathan Edwards.
I do like Jonathan Edwards, though. He's good.
Well, yeah, it's First Great Awakening stuff. I mean, the guy was absolutely phenomenal. How's it? You're hanging over the pit of hell by a thread,
like a spider. Yeah, that was the metaphor that
that's from the Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God.
Yeah, there you go.
He preached other sermons like "Wicked cast into the furnace of hell." I mean, he preached on hell a lot.
Yeah, well,
that almost reminds me of Kenneth Copeland saying that he doesn't want to ride in a. He needs his own private jet because he can't ride in another plane with all them devils.
Jeez.
Well, you know who he's found?
Weren't we sent to them to pull them out of the fire? Some of them. Make it different.
I can't travel in that tube of demons. I cannot.
I want to make a comparison. Kenneth Copeland. He's comparative to our climate czar John Kerry today. I need to burn all these fossil fuels to save the planet from those people who burn fossil fuels. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kenneth Copeland, yeah, that's and the thing is a lot of people will point towards. Look at this Christian preacher here. Look what he says.
Yeah, and therefore
That's representative of all
preachers.
preachers. That's representative of all Christians, don't you see? But look, okay, let's get back to this verse. Okay, so look what he finishes it up with. It. Not only do we need to go to hell and burn it and abide in that fire. Look what he says. They are the worst of created beings.
Yeah.
Created beings. Okay, so who can think of a created being that is what?
That's bad.
Say it, Chris. Say it.
Allah's throwing us right under the bus in that verse, man. Like, we're lower than the jinn.
Jinn.
Oh yeah.
Like, if we're the
And
worst
the Muslims.
if we're worst of the created beings, a jinn is a created being.
What about
we're worse than Iblis in this book.
What about a cockroach?
Yeah.
We may be on the same level.
It's a cockroach. No, Chris. Now, come on now. Look right there. This is from the same Allah that gave us the Sermon on the Mount.
Oh, yes.
The created beings. Now, created beings. Tell me a cockroach is not a created being. Go ahead and try that one.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
So
You got it.
we are the worst. If we are the worst of created beings, we are worse than cockroaches, snakes, rats,
jinns.
Jinns.
Yes, the devil.
And then it does say idolaters right there, and kissing a rock is idolatry, saying that if you touch a rock or kiss a rock, your sins will be forgiven you. This is idolatry.
No, it's not. That's pure monotheism. What is wrong with you?
You kafir.
You have to.
Yeah.
No.
There we go again.
You first
Connie the
have
Kafir. Get in your corner, girl.
Okay.
Get in your corner.
Yeah,
Get a nice roll to it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not idolatry. It's pure monotheism. As long as you walk around it 7 times. If you don't walk around it 7 times, 6
Then
times,
it's idolatry,
8 times,
right?
then it's idolatry. We know those
okay.
people who can't count when they do it 8 times, or they're one short and they're a little lazy, and do it only 6 times. Well, then it's idolatry. But if you do it 7 times.
But if I'm right from Muslim theology, that even if you do believe in Muhammad, you still can go to hell.
Oh yeah.
Even if you do, if Muhammad doesn't like you or something, because I remember reading, I can't remember which one, like he kind of, if he doesn't like you, he can still send you to hell, even though you do everything right. Like there's no kind of, you have absolutely no assurance of going to heaven. Even if you want to go to Muslim heaven, which sounds like hell to me, but there's no assurance of going to heaven on Islamic.
Okay, Dominic. Before you get too deep in that, you're going to steal Chris's thunder for Tuesday night.
Yeah, slow down, Dominic.
Surah 19, 70 to 72.
Solely.
Yeah.
Are you not listening, Derek? We told him to shut up. We got to tell you shut up, too.
Okay.
The Tuesday show is going to be on the Islamic salvation.
Yeah,
so save it for Tuesday, people.
Several articles on that back in the day.
There's salvation in Islam?
No.
Well, the salvation in Islam is not assured. They do not have the blessed assurance, and that's what Chris is going to be talking about. But the point I'm
13, we have that.
The point I'm trying to make here with this is that the God of the Quran, the Allah of the Quran, who supposedly revealed the Quran, is supposedly, according, if we are to be consistent as Christians, and this is where all the butthurt and confusion comes from. So why don't you believe Muhammad was a prophet? Well, the reason why we don't believe that Muhammad was a prophet is because what we read here does not line up at all with what we read here. They're 2 completely different things. So if you're going to try to say that Jesus was a prophet, and you're going to try to say that you love Jesus, and you're going to say that you believe the teachings of Jesus, the first thing you're going to do is, instead of praying to Allah, you're going to pray to your Father. That's the first thing that you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is you are going to have to learn how to love your neighbor as yourself. And you're going to have to start getting off of this shtick thinking that everybody and their brother, just because they do not believe exactly like you do, is a kafir, is a loathsome creature, is somebody that needs to be
shamed and belittled and possibly killed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that's just going to have to, and this is why I was going through all of these verses. I have 4 pages of these verses. Are the lowest of low, focused on only outward appearances. That's what we are. We're in a state of confusion. We make mischief. We are transgressors. Our work shall be rendered ineffective. So why even do any type of works at all? Let's see here. We are guilty. We are sinful liars. We follow falsehoods. Our deeds like a mirage in the desert. Allah does not love it. Here we go. Let's see here. Say, obey Allah and the messenger, but if they turn away, lo, Allah loveth not the disbelievers. Lo, Allah defendeth those who are true. Lo, loveth not each treacherous ingrate. I didn't see that. Treacherous ingrate. Yeah, so if you're an ingrate, would anybody in here qualify themselves as an ingrate from time to time?
I was trying to look up that word.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Ingrate is somebody that is not grateful.
From time to time, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the sin
Yeah,
nature.
all of us.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We all are ingrates from time to time.
Not me.
Okay.
Of course, Ed.
The holy Halen here, yes, Halen the holy, not him. But yeah, we all. If you what is the commandment of God? Saying to love thy Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy spirit, with all thy might, with all thy strength. And how often do we do that?
Not 24/7.
Yeah, we fall short. That's why we had to have Christ come and redeem us.
I would say that because listen to what it says. You're to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy strength. Do we do that? I mean, we say we do.
As people in our bodies, no. But in Christ, I am perfect. You'll never find any imperfections in me in Christ. But outside of Christ, yes, all of us are ingrates.
Yeah, I don't hold a sinless perfectionism. Because
what does that mean in the Arabic? Ingrate. What does it mean? I'm just interested.
Oh golly! All right, okay. So let me look here. Let's see here. Where did that word go? Couldn't you ask me when I was on the word itself? Let's see here. Ingrate. Where did it go? Defender. Allah forsakes them as Crescent. Okay, let's just do this. Ingrate. Ingrate.
Kafurin.
Ingrate. Synonym. Well, it doesn't even have synonyms for it. For crying out loud. You would think that this coming from the clear Quran, we wouldn't have any confusion on what the word means.
Any unclear stuff? Stuff?
No, ingrate. Here it is, right here. An ingrate is an ungrateful person. This is
no. But it comes from the same word as kafir. It's kafurin.
It's what?
It's kafir.
Sure, you could throw it in that basket.
No. I was just looking up the thing, and it actually means the word ingrate. There means ungrateful. It also means it comes from the Arabic word kafurin. If JL can clarify if I'm correct with the Arabic on that statement.
Well, I'm thinking that the context in which it was saying is just people who are not grateful to God, not grateful for what God has done for them or given them this. They're not grateful that God has sent his messenger, Muhammad, and delivered this internally contradictory, anachronistic, historically laughable, and scientifically refuted book. You're an ingrate if you don't accept it.
Well, that
and
would be,
witnesses.
Well, that
and no
would
witnesses as Moses. Sorry.
That
What did Chris say? I didn't hear him.
That'd be just normal, though, wouldn't it, for Muslims? Because basically, they're ungrateful, even though their God allowed them to be pimps. You can literally be a pimp in Islam. You can have your own little slave girls and you can prostitute them out. And it's kind of bad for you to do that. But as long as you ask for forgiveness after it's all done, Allah will forgive you. Right? So them ungrateful people that don't just jump at that chance to take those slaves and to prostitute them out and then forgive or ask for forgiveness afterwards. How ungrateful are those people?
We had who mentioned that on our show? Here it is. Okay, Quran 24. I'm looking this sucker up.
4.
Yeah.
Read it?
And there's also there's a hadith connected to
424.
it.
424 too.
There's a hadith connected to it in Sunan Abu Dawud where Muhammad allows his followers to do that kind of stuff after they take people captive from a village.
Yep.
This is disgusting.
Very.
But that's why we have it on the Crescent discussion group, don't you see? Because we're willing to take on these hard, disgusting topics.
You're the wretched refuse.
Yeah. You can see that on Facebook or sorry, on YouTube.
What?
Your video, because I can see it right now on the screen pretty good. So that you'd be able to see it on YouTube pretty good.
Okay, so but let them find not the means, marriage, abstain from sexual relations until Allah enriches them from His bounty, and those who seek a contract for eventual emancipation from among you who rent and possesses, then make a contract with them if you know there is within them goodness, and give them from their wealth of Allah, which is He has given you, and do not compel your slave girls to prostitution. What a nice guy. Do not compel your slave girls to go into prostitution if they don't want to be a hoe, if they want to be, chastity. Allah Akbar. How forgiving and how what's the word I'm looking for? Generous.
Yeah, there you go.
Allah. Yeah. Well, He specifically says you can compel them if they want to be a hoe. But if they don't want to be a hoe,
I was wondering if I could quote something on the back of that.
Go ahead.
There's on 424. There is like that phrase. It's also in this verse that you just read for us. That phrase, "Those whom your right hands possess."
Right. Mm-hmm.
Ibn Kathir, in his commentary, his tafsir, it says that it means, quote, "except those whom you acquire through war." So that proves that what that phrase means is referring to like slave captives from war. And it's not just some like random obscure thing. So even one of the
I think it's pretty widely accepted that phrase means your captives. It was used when Muhammad got his revelation from God, telling him that he should not be making promises to his wives when he has sex with his slave girls in their bed. Don't make a promise to your wives. Don't even make promises to your wives when they catch you in bed with your slave girls, because I've given you these things. So when we start talking about having what your right hand possesses, that's it right there. All right. All right. Does anybody else have anything to add to this? Take away from any direction I need to go here that you feel?
So amongst the worst of all of Allah's creatures, they are also at the same time the closest to love and friendship to the believer, to the Muslim.
Doesn't that sound a bit contradictory to you?
Yeah, a little bit. It goes against the old saying, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. So the closest in love and friendship amongst the Muslim is the one who is also the worst of all creatures.
Sorry.
And they can
just
take
wanted to point that out.
That makes zero sense. What?
Yeah. No, you're going to say something that makes zero sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can. Yeah, and then they can take their Muslim women and prostitute them out. Isn't that great?
I don't know if it's Muslim women. It's women whom your right hand possesses.
Yeah, war captives.
Okay, then war captives.
So it broadens the spectrum.
But could that include
the women? The Muslim
Shia
women.
Let's say Shia women. If a Sunni,
Yeah, because they consider them as kuffar.
I guess so.
So if they do captive them, then go for it. They can make money and pimp them out.
Yeah, I'm willing to be wrong on that, and I'm sure.
Yeah, so am I.
Is John still here? John's still here.
Oh yeah, ask John.
Yes.
He'll know.
John, is that true?
Can you repeat the verse?
So, all right. So here you have a verse in the Quran that says that you can cause the women, those whom your right hand possesses, to go into prostitution. And
yeah. لا تجبرونهم على البغاء. Yeah, it's written.
All right. So the question is, okay, these war captive women, would this include, if you are a Sunni, if you took Shia Muslim women as captives? Is this permissible in that case?
Yeah, it's permissible. It's they have in Shia what is called mut'a marriage, and they practice it till now, and they defend it. If you speak with any one of the Shia, they defend it, and they say it's better than doing sex without a contract. They do just a contract even for 3 hours, and after that they divorce each other, and life continues like that. Then yeah, it's permissible for Shia to do that, no problem.
So can you pimp them out though? Can you make them prostitute?
Yeah.
That's what
wow.
That's what a marriage is, isn't it? I mean, it's just a legal form of prostitution.
Yes, that's right.
It's technically temporary marriage, but I mean, the idea is it's in the Quran. So, I mean, I think what Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'at's position is that the Hadith says no longer applicable. But I mean, I think the Shia perspective is stronger on this narrative. It is in the Quran that you can do temporary marriage.
And even in Sunni hadith about temporary marriage, there are different hadiths. Some hadiths say that it was not cancelled, it was not abrogated, and the others hadith say that Muhammad abrogated at the year of Utas, 13 years, 3 years after Hijrah. Then we don't know. It's like
Thank you, DL. We appreciate that. Whatever that was.
Okay, well, Eric, you read the word that says don't prostitute them. Can you go back there, because that's what we're focused on? And it says, but if but if you do, so we're asking,
okay, let's look at
if they possessed a Shia woman, could they prostitute her out? Not mut'a marriage, but prostitution.
Okay, so
that's the word they use.
If any of your slaves ask for a deed in writing, give them such a deed. Give them something. It means Allah has given you, but do not force your maids to prostitution. Now, wait a second. There's a different word here. Maids. Okay, here we go. Let's go by word. Here we go. Oh my goodness.
Excellent, Eric. This is when we're going to get to the
see directing possesses your right hands. Okay, so this is what your right hand possesses. Any good we give them from the wealth of Allah, which has given you, compel your slave girls. It doesn't say maids; it's your slave girls.
Yeah, it's slave girls. Yeah.
Yeah, slave girls. I'm trying to see where.
Don't force them into prostitution. Means they can do that whenever they want, but there is no force. Don't force them.
Okay, so if they want to be a prostitute,
it's okay, no problem. But don't force them. This is the whole verse.
But if you do, read it. But if you do, go back there, because it says, but if you do, Allah forgives you. So the question is if they come in a land and they take Shia women, can they prostitute them?
Okay, here's
not mut'a marriage, prostitution.
So and whoever compels them, then indeed Allah after their compulsion is off forgiving.
The verse speaks about forcing women or slave women into prostitution, whatever their religion. In other words, Allah asking us in Muslims not to take slave girls and forcing them into prostitution. They can do prostitution as they like, but no forcing in them.
This is just sick. Why would the God see? This is what I cannot get past. Here you have the God of the universe sanctioning slavery, but saying, hey, it's not so bad. If you have somebody that wants to be a prostitute, go ahead and let them. Don't force them, but if they want to be a prostitute, you can go ahead and allow them to do that. What kind of God is that?
Well, see, I don't think it's switching from the female. I don't think it's switching from. There's an echo. Yeah, I don't think it's switching. Jeez, who's on? Turn off your YouTube.
George, let me add.
Okay, because it's not echoing anymore. See, it's not saying if the woman wants to, it's okay. Allah forgives. It's if. See, that's not. See. This end of this conversation was switched to if the woman wants to. No, it's if the men do this, if the men prostitute these women that they have taken captives. Okay, now we know if they're Shia women. Okay, that's fine. The men can put them under prostitution. It's not if the women want to. So clarify that. That is not true. It's if they're wanting to make them prostitutions, they can. If men want to do it unto women, not if the women want to.
Okay, let's
okay. That ticked me off because that's not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Force not your maids to prostitution. Okay, so the owner of these slave girls can't force his slave girls into prostitution if they desire chastity, if they do not want to be a hoe. Okay. In order that you may make a gain in the perishable goods of this worldly life. So what is that saying? That's saying that so you're not enriching yourself if they desire chastity, in that you make a gain. So you're not getting anything if they want to be chaste. So if they want to be chaste, you're not making any money off them. So let them find something else to do. Is that what it's saying? But if anyone compels them to prostitution, then after such compulsion, Allah is forgiving and merciful. So even if you do compel them to prostitution,
it's all right.
Then you're being forgiven. Is that what you're saying, Connie?
Yes. If anyone compels them, that means the man, because Allah is talking to the men here. So if any one of you men compel them to prostitution, then it's okay. Allah forgives you. You know?
That's what I was going to say earlier when I brought up the verse.
Yes, sir.
Is that at the end of the verse here, it does say that Allah will forgive. But just before that, it says, if you compel. Now, if you compel somebody into prostitution, there should be no there should be no way that the woman should be repenting for anything. Right? It should be the man that is repenting for it, because the man is in the wrong in that instance. So the forgiveness could only be given to the person that has done wrong. And the person that has done wrong is the one that compels the slave to prostitution. So this verse is actually saying you're not supposed to prostitute your slave girls with compulsion. But if you do compel your slave girls to prostitution, there is forgiveness for you under that God.
So what kind of God?
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, what kind of God?
It's your turn.
What are the morals? What are the morals from this verse? What are the morals that for a person living 1 century to get from this verse? It's negative, not zero. It's negative.
And this
what about madams?
Well, okay, but it's not addressing madams. I mean, women did not own slaves back then, did they? They did not own female slaves?
Not unless you're very high up. Not unless you're a very high up person. Like I imagine Aisha probably would have had a slave, but women wouldn't have been permitted to. Women wouldn't have been permitted to do those type of interactions back in those days. Those interactions could have only been done by men, like the pricing out of a woman and receiving money and all of that type of stuff. That interaction would have had to have been done by a male, not a female.
Wait a minute. There's no compulsion in Islam.
That's
Yeah, well,
that's religion, not sexual appetite.
okay, so and this is where I want everybody to get your mind wrapped around here. The same God that tells you not to hoe out your slaves unless they want to be hoes is the same God that says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, so they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." That's the same God that says this in the Bible is the same God that says, "But if you are, let's see, and give them something you yourselves will bestow upon them, and force not your maids to prostitution if they desire chastity, in order that you may make a gain in the perishable goods of this worldly life." So he's saying don't force your girls to be prostitutes, but if they want to,
if the men want them to, if the men compel them to, say it correctly. Because when you say if they want to, what I hear is if the women want to. It's if the men compel them to. See?
And if the men compel them
Thank
to,
you.
Allah is oft forgiving. But think about that for just a second, Connie.
Male chauvinist pigs.
Yeah, but
that's
I
what
mean,
Islam is about.
Has the nature of women changed though?
What do you
I
saying
mean,
there?
Well, what I'm saying is, I was doing some research on OnlyFans. I didn't even know what that was, but the majority of it is a bunch of women who use this website, to do sexual acts. I mean, that's not a modern phenomenon, and so maybe you had those women back then that wanted to do that, and you had those that didn't, and those were the ones that had to be compelled. So I mean, it's not like women were sugar and spice and everything nice, way back in the day.
Yeah, no one's saying that. Exactly, DL.
Okay, so what I'm saying is maybe the compulsion just has to do with the captured, the good girls, the chaste girls. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm just trying to wrap my mind around what type of God is going to need to address something like this.
Yeah.
The same God that thinks that when you get invited over to Muhammad's house, he should give you revelation that you're not allowed to talk to his wife.
Right. Yeah. And you have to leave early. Don't stay around.
And you have to bring money. And you have to bring money if you want to sit with the prophet, right?
It's fake God. It's fake God, not real God.
It's what?
Fake God, not the real God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but, we kind of have to say it that way so they understand that we're talking about Allah.
Fabrication. And that's what I tried to do. You missed it at the beginning of the show, Connie. What I was trying to do is I was trying to act like a Muslim and sit here and talk. No, it was these guys, and they got mad at me for doing it because I didn't cue them into what I was doing. And I appreciate it. Maybe I shouldn't have played it as long as I did. But I'm sitting here talking for maybe 20, 30 seconds, and I purposely had myself muted. And they're like, "Eric, you're muted." Eric, and I can hear him saying, "Eric, you're muted, idiot. He did it again. Look at him. He looks like it." And then I finally came on and said, this is what Muslims do. They sit there and they talk to you, and all the while ignoring everything that you possibly hear because they don't want to hear the truth. And the truth, even when you do show it to them, and even though they can hear it, they're not going to accept it. And I think I've said this several times on this show, and I'm going to go to my grave proclaiming this. They are demonically blinded from the truth. They cannot see the truth. Anybody that would think that this, what we've been, I mean, just one passage here that we're looking about where you can prostitute out your slave girls. And then, you know, if you do, you know, and he's telling you not to do it if they want to be chaste. But if you do it, then I'm going to forgive you. And he has to address this in his last message to mankind. I mean, is this such an important thing? Is such an important, not action or this is something that happened so often back then that this needed to be addressed, really, by the God of the universe in his final message to mankind?
Right.
And then you compare that to what Christ taught during his ministry, and the two they just don't line up at all. I mean, it's completely, somebody said it earlier, it's the antithesis of each other is what they are.
Exactly. Well, you got Satan and then you got God.
Yeah. Here's somebody new, KL. Thank you for coming. This is atheists do the same thing. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've dealt with them guys for years.
So do Unitarians, and they're looking straight into the Bible, but then when you tell them to go there, you know, they just want to tell you what it says instead of going there and reading it, and they'll give their own interpretation.
Yeah, Chris had one of those on his show a couple weeks ago, didn't you, Chris? Who's that Unitarian guy you had on there?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but yeah, I had one on there a couple weeks ago. I had a couple, I think. I know I'm going to be going on a Unitarian channel probably in the next week or so. His name's called Faithful Theology. I'm going to go on there and have a discussion with him. He's been sending me a message. He's in YouTube jail right now. When he gets out, he wants to have me over to have an interview with me. And I said, sure, no problem.
How do you get put in YouTube jail?
He did a video on Vox.
He did a video on what?
Vox, VOX. I'm not sure who they are, but he said whenever you do a video on them, they like to report your videos, I guess. I don't know.
And then you go to like Facebook jail for a month or?
Oh, just 1 week, I think. Week or 2 weeks on YouTube.
Yeah, it's only a week or two.
Oh. I've been in there for 3 straight months, you know, where you can't post anything. And
you're not even close to my record. My record back in, I believe it was 2019, is I spent 9 months in a 12-month cycle in Facebook jail.
Wow. You must have made somebody really mad.
I got you beat 300 days in a row.
Whoa.
That's when I left Facebook after they took me down, but yeah.
But wouldn't you guys have learned that maybe the first time with posting your hate speech and your calling people names and things that you wouldn't have learned the first time you did that?
I'm a slow learner.
Hey, I mean, nobody told me if I posted hadiths, I would go to jail.
You're exactly right. I mean, because if you look at some of the things that, we post out there, and then you're the one that gets reported for posting what their book says for hate speech. Think of the irony there that's involved in that, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that they would put the Quran in hate speech? Because we're not saying, yeah, we want to do this as the Quran says. We're saying, look at this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, think about this. Connie, you're the worst of creatures. You're worse than a cockroach.
Yep. That's why my family loves me so much.
Well, if you're worse than if I would say that would be considered hate speech, wouldn't it? I would hope that people would
if you say don't do this, or if you say let's do this. Hey, it says this in the Quran. Let's do it. Let's go for it.
No,
that's hate speech.
If I called you a cockroach, you're worse than a cockroach because you're the worst of creatures. Would that be considered hate speech?
Well, no, not according. Well, I know you're thingy, but according to the Supreme Court, hate speech is if you're going to say let's go and do violence.
No, we're not talking about the Supreme Court. We're talking about the Facebook court. Going to Facebook jail.
Well, yeah, of course it would be. Of course it would be. Man, you can just say you're wrong. I just said, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Here's the this is what the Quran says, and it's wrong, and you're incorrect. You're wrong. They banned me for that. One time I just asked what, and they banned me. I just asked what.
What?
I know.
What about?
He was saying something about the Quran, making it, it sounded like really twisted. And so I didn't understand what he said. So I wrote what? And like 10 seconds later, I got a thing. You're banned. You're banned for 30 days for saying what? But they knew.
Hey,
They
Chris.
knew I wasn't bowing my knee.
So,
Chris, you said Facebook jail, right? After you get out of Facebook jail, how long does it take for that to get expunged off of your record?
I don't think it does.
Oh, it doesn't. So it's gonna be tough trying to find a job, man. With that on your record.
I know. 9 months straight too.
I'm trying to, let's see, help and support. Let's see here, support inbox. I'm going to see if I still have your violations. So you have a box here for your violations. Holy crap. I got like a rap sheet here.
Oh yeah. Any Christian that opens up that, you may as well. It's like rolling out the red carpet.
Okay, here's a violation. Now listen to this one. The greatness of our founding, the Declaration of Independence, hate speech. This post goes against our community standards on spam. And what was this? Let's see. What was the post? I can't see the post. Let's go back here. This is ridiculous. When you look at what Facebook is about here, this post goes against the community standards. And here's what I get nailed for here is spam, the spamming stuff. This is 2020. Here I got nailed in August 26th for writing. On Tuesday, we are going to be looking at the differences between the actions and things done to the apostates of Islam and the apostates of Christianity. Then we're going to look at the actions of the converts to Islam and the converts of Christianity. By comparing and contrasting what happens to apostates and what conversion causes people to do in both of these faiths, it will become clear which one is of God by judging by their fruits. That got me banned for 3 days.
Well, anything that you say, the Muslims are already jumping on it. But what does Facebook say about hate speech? Can you find it on there and read it to us?
This post against her on spam, bullying. Oh, here's one I got for bullying. You know what a nasty cuss.
You?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I know. I'm such a wascal. I don't have time to look to see what their definition of bullying, but I'm sure that it's and here's the problem is that the people who run their safety and trust team or whatever it's called, they're a bunch of snowflakes, and they've bought into the Kool-Aid that the left is shoveling out there. Anytime that you would criticize any type of you would criticize Islam or you would criticize any leftist idea or something like that, they're going to ban you. They're going to go ahead and take it down off of there. That's already been demonstrated time and time and time again. So anything pro-Christian that would dare to come out and criticize Islam is going to be considered hate speech. Let me see over here. We got anything there? No. Who is this Michael Knight? Is this guy? The Quran says that
he's a Muslim. I think that's another one of the John Wick and Constantine Mithras names. Now, I could be mistaken, but he argues the same way as that person does.
You believers, yes, unbelievers are the worst. Your Jesus says the same thing. Oh, okay. Notice I didn't see a verse there attached to it, though. That's weird.
Yeah, let him give an example. If he's going to put up, he needs to put up or just shut up.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to go to
put up or shut up, Michael.
He's going to go
put up or
Michael.
shut up.
He's going to go to the verse
out of the Bible, bro. Quote us a verse out of the Bible. We'll turn it right against you.
He's gonna turn around and use the one
There
about
you
where
go.
Jesus
He hasn't even read the Bible. That's why that's the joke. He hasn't even read the Bible. It's like he's trying to comment on it. He hasn't actually read the thing. So it's like he's not.
Well, I can tell you which one he's going to go to.
I'm glad.
I know which one he's going to go to. He's going to go about the verse where Jesus talks about
7:21.
Pearls before swine, crumbs to the dogs, something like that is probably.
No, they like to use Matthew 7:21.
Matthew 7:21. Hey, I got that right here.
And
just
the
turn the
pearls
page.
before swine, that word is Ahmed.
What is that? Say that again.
I was being sarcastic. That word is Ahmed.
Oh, okay.
But he did say your Jesus taught that, so I'm happy he said that, because he's clearly making a distinction between their Jesus and our Jesus.
Right.
Which their Jesus.
So not everyone who says
Yeah,
to me,
we
Lord,
do give
Lord,
him
shall
credit
enter
for
the
that.
kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven.
Yeah, our Jesus is the Jesus of the Gospels that their Muhammad and Allah or Dracullah confirmed. Thank you very much.
So they use that verse, Eric, to say that when Christians on Judgment Day go to Jesus and say, "Did we not do this, this, and this?" He's going to say, "I never knew you." So they take that out of context and claim Jesus is talking about Christians.
Yeah, they do. I can't stand when they do that.
Yeah, it's actually going to be Muslims. He says that too. You can bet on that, buddy.
They leave out the context where he says, "Only those who do the will of my Father in heaven."
And the will of our Father is that in Christ all fullness dwell. In Christ.
Yeah, I always ask him right after that. So, are you doing the will of the Father?
Exactly.
And coming in the Son.
I can prove to you Jesus isn't God, because Jesus said he didn't know the day or the hour.
Oops.
And then they're quoting a passage where Father and Son is being used. So I always say, did Jesus actually say that?
Hey, there's thanks for bringing that up, Dale. There is I don't want to say it's a documentary. What was this thing called? It explains the marriage practice in Galilee. It's called Before the Wrath. It's on Amazon. If you ever, it's Before the Wrath. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not, but if you ever want to get ever have a chance to watch something about that talks about, because it says that Jesus says, well, nobody knows the day or the hour of the coming of God. What he's doing is he's talking about a groom coming for his bride. When you're betrothed in that culture at that time that was in around the Galilean area, it was the father who decided when the wedding was going to occur.
Exactly.
Not the son, not the daughter. And
Preach
so it is not the son who would know the day or the hour of the wedding, meaning of when Christ is coming for his bride.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the Father who knows that day.
Yep.
So that doesn't say that Jesus isn't God. It basically says that it is like the bride of Christ, being Christ coming for his bride, and only the Father would know that.
That's why I claim myself messianic, because these roots of how Judaism works is beautiful. I mean, they're preaching the gospel. If you go back and see how they lived and how they did things, I mean, and Jesus Christ came and spoke their language in a sense. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, he did. He's a product of late Second Temple Judaism, and so he used those realities in his own society as object lessons.
Yep, types and shadows. Mm-hmm. That's why they could tell that he was claiming himself to be God. And everybody else would say, no, he's not. No, he's not. That is the charges that they put him under. So yes, he was.
The best way to look at it is just look at what Muslims claim are problems in the Gospels, and then just look at what rabbis say. Rabbis never claim Jesus contradicted himself or made claims that were out of the ballpark, because they understand that he's utilizing the interpretive methods of that time, which Muslims don't know, and they really don't care. They're just looking for something to show that, or to try to justify why they reject the Gospels, from an Islamic standpoint. So,
right. Unitarians do the same thing. They feed off on each other.
And the thing that drives me crazy is that they reject the very same gospels that their Allah and Muhammad confirmed. Why is that? Why are they doing that?
Ibn Ishaq even pointing out that John wrote the Gospel of John.
Yep.
Oh, how convenient. I have the book right here. Exactly right. Because if you look, what does it say? Nope, that's not the right page. I think it's over. Here we go. Those whom Jesus, son of Mary, sent, both the disciples and those who came after him in the land, were Peter, the disciple, and Paul with him. Paul belonged to the followers.
Hello, Patricia.
What's that?
Hello?
Yes, George. What?
Hello, Patricia.
Hey, Carl.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, finally this game of telephone target.
He's got a hot mic.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna.
He's at work. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he admits that John wrote the Gospel of John. We also have I think there was a hadith, or maybe it was Ibn Kathir, one of the commentators, had said basically the same thing. So, to try to deny that the Gospels weren't written by who they were. And I think did we talk about this last night? We were on Chris's show last night, and we were talking a lot about the crucifixion. And Chris has been on there several times where he's been speaking about on his show. Let me mute here. There we go. Where we're talking about the authenticity. Okay, DL, I'm muting you because you have your YouTube on. There you go. Turn the YouTube tab off. But we were talking about the authenticity of the Gospels and how we know that the Gospel writer John wrote John, Matthew wrote Matthew, Mark, and Luke. How we know these things, and we're not doing it based on what the New Testament teaches, because all four of the Gospels are essentially anonymous. But we're doing it on not only the traditions of the early church fathers, but the teachings, the written teachings. Because we hear a lot of times, well, we have a chain of narration where we can demonstrate that, so and so said this, and this and this and this happened because so and so said so and so said so and so said so and so, that so and so said so and so said this, and we know that happened because, well, the hadith are true. But we have a chain of transmission that is in writing and is not oral. So we don't need so and so said that John wrote John. The direct student of John, Polycarp, says that John wrote John. A direct student of Polycarp, Irenaeus, said that John wrote John. Irenaeus said Matthew wrote Matthew. Said that Mark wrote Mark, and Luke wrote Luke. So we have a chain there that is well established when we start talking about a chain of transmission. Where was I going with that?
Well, the whole point of the matter is we have the original sources. We don't have the this dude heard that this dude heard that this dude heard that this dude heard that this dude heard, like you see in the chain of narration in Islam. We don't have a chain, so to speak. We have the link, the solid link. Right there, we have the original manuscripts, and I've done a lot of research just looking at our manuscripts alone, and our manuscript evidence rivals any other written books of any type whatsoever. I mean, the attestation of the gospel of Jesus Christ in our manuscripts is so rich, nobody can touch it. They can't even get close to it. Period.
No, we've spoken on that several times. It's what Dan Wallace calls an embarrassment of riches. Yes, where we have 2.5 Go ahead,
I
Dominic.
was Eric. I was joking that the Quran is an embarrassment, whereas the Quran is about embarrassment of riches. The Bible is embarrassment of riches. The Quran is just purely an embarrassment. It's yeah.
That's. I'm going to write that one down. We have okay, an embarrassment of riches versus an embarrassment. Yeah, and because we have there's 2.5 million pages of Greek manuscript text alone. 2.5 million.
It's about 2.5 million. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 5,600 separate Greek manuscripts themselves. Now, I get it. A couple of them are like P51, which is supposed to be the earliest one. This is only as big as a credit card, but that's not the only attestation that we have to the Gospel of John. When you start
the John Rylands fragment, you have the Chester Beatty. I mean, there's so much stuff. It's like it's so frustrating compared to like the Quran. The Quran is almost like fictional compared to like what you have with the Bible. It's like there's more evidence for you have more evidence for the Bible than you have Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon.
Yeah.
So you have more evidence that Jesus for the Gospels than even anything in antiquity.
You also have outside sources as well. So I mean that just bolsters it that much more. I mean, I would love to know what we would have had the Roman libraries not been burnt
by Muslims.
Yeah, by Muslims.
the library in Alexandria, but when I don't know if there's a hadith that goes along.
What year was that?
638, 639,
Wow.
640, somewhere around there. Abu Bakr's, terrorizing, or no, he's not terrorizing. He's out conquering the world. 40, somewhere around there.
Something happened here.
Abu Bakr's, terrorizing, or no, he's not terrorizing. He's out conquering the world. There, I'm sorry. I don't know why that came up. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I think that was DL's. And
that was me. That was me. That was my.
Yeah, I heard it.
Right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
Okay. No, because I pushed a button down here and boom, it starts playing. I'm like, hold on a second.
Don't mess with the keyboard.
Blaming the brother.
Yeah, don't. No, sorry, DL. Well, when it stopped, your thing went to mute immediately. So I was like, okay, it's DL. Eric, I'll say what I used to say in church: don't mess with my keyboard. Don't mess with the buttons.
So the point I was trying to make here was that when we were talking about early attestation, the number of sources that we have for the historicity of the crucifixion. This is something that was brought up last night on Chris's live stream. We were talking about the crucifixion and what type of evidence do we have that the crucifixion occurred, because in DL was there last night. That's right. And DL was like, well, there's a contradiction because the Quran does say that Jesus was crucified or did die in 3 other places. And I personally would prefer that we would leave those 3 other verses alone and let the Quran waller in its historical inaccuracy by denying the crucifixion of Jesus, because to deny the crucifixion of Jesus is to deny the most attested to event from that time period. And we were talking about the separate lines of attestation that we do have for the crucifixion. Not only do we have the biblical attestation, which is an embarrassment of riches, but we also have the extra biblical that I believe it was Ed just mentioned, or maybe it was DL that mentioned it. When you start talking about Pliny, when you start talking about Tacitus, when you start talking about Josephus, when you start talking about the Jewish Talmud, I mean, you have all kinds of different streams of attestation for the event itself. So you don't just have to rely on what the Gospels teach. The fact is that Christ was crucified on a cross. That you can't dispute that and still have any type of intellectual integrity or credibility at all. Go ahead, Dio.
Look at what I posted in the private chat by the late great Jewish scholar Joseph Klausner. I don't know if you can read it.
Yeah, if we had ancient sources like those in the Gospels for the history of Alexander or Caesar, we should not cast any doubt upon them whatsoever.
Once again, when Jews look at the Gospels, they see something completely different than a Muslim does.
Why is that?
Because they they understand that the Gospels as ancient biographies are head and shoulders above anything. Just as he said, you have to approach ancient documents about Caesar or Alexander with a lot of skepticism. Whereas with the Gospels, they're just, they're multiply attested because you have 4 of them from the same century.
Well, what's the earliest one for Caesar? Isn't it like 80 years or something after the death of Caesar Augustus? Or
I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but the Gospels were, well, how should I say it? The actual paperwork was spread out so fast that there's no way that you could have what they would like to call a corruption, so to speak, because one place would rat the other place out if they didn't match up.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and
here's another nice little historical tidbit. Irenaeus received the gospel from oral tradition. He received it orally. Then later he became somewhat of a scholar on the 4 Gospels. So if there would have been anybody who would have been able to know whether or not the oral tradition contradicted with the written, it would have been Irenaeus.
And keep in mind that he's
Do you have a book on that, Eric, that you can show us?
It's Kenneth. It's the 2-volume set by Kenneth Scott Latourette, Church History.
Can you write that name down?
I have this one.
What's that one called?
This is called the Ante-Nicene Fathers, Volume 1 by Philip Schaff. And I'm not going to go through here, but it does have the writings of Irenaeus.
Who's the writer, Eric?
Philip Schaff. Let me see if I can get this up here.
I actually spoke to. I think I was at.
There we
go. Right there.
There's
yes, Philip Schaff. Okay.
It's a 3-volume set.
I have the same book on Kindle. You can find it in Kindle, Amazon, maybe. I have it on my cell phone.
Yeah, great. Send it.
It's a great book.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
And DL, what was the? Can you send that? If there's a link on the book, the 2-volume set that you were speaking of.
Well, I don't have it on Kindle. It's in my library, but Kenneth Scott Latourette is quoting some church father. I don't know who he's quoting. I don't know that reference, but I know it's in his book, his 2-volume set on church history. So I believe one, I think 30 AD to 800 AD is like the first volume. So it's in the first volume.
Because incredible. Because you have the Nicene and you have the Ante-Nicene fathers, isn't it? You have the Ante-Nicene is the.
Yeah, well, Irenaeus is going to be Ante-Nicene.
Right.
Yeah.
He's anything before the Council of Nicaea. What was I going to say? It was okay. There was 2 points that I was going to make. The first point is that the early. They were written early. We know that they were written early before 70. We know all 4 Gospels were written before 70 AD. I know I'm kind of sticking my neck out there for Johannian Gospel.
Clement, I think it's Clement of Rome, who's one of I think Paul's counterparts. He even says that there's one of his writings that actually states that the temple is still around even when he's alive. So it must be before 70 AD.
Clement is in here in this book here, and I'd have to go in and pick out because there's first Clement and then second Clement.
Yeah.
there's some doubt that Clement of Rome wrote Second Clement, but there's little doubt that he wrote First Clement, and I'm thinking that what you're talking about is in Second Clement. I'm willing to be wrong on that, but it still does not matter, because when you look at the timeline and the necessity for these books, because number one, we know that Paul was martyred in Rome between 65 and 66 A.D. If you look at the book of Acts that was written by Luke, we know that Paul was still alive at the end of Acts. So Acts has to come before 65 or 66 AD. So we know that Luke also wrote the Gospel of Luke prior to Acts, because of the way that the book of Acts opens up. So we know that Luke was prior to Acts. Then we know that Luke draws heavily from Matthew and Mark. So that pushes the dates of Matthew and Mark even earlier. Some people are even dating Mark clear back to 45 AD, within 15 years of the cross.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Eric, you missed a point in your chronology. Going back earlier, Paul dying between 65 and 66. He actually quotes from Luke in chapter 5, verse 18 of 1 Timothy.
There you go.
But you
This is true. This is true.
Because that's a very interesting study, because you've got quotes from the Gospels actually in the letters, and you've got quotes from, I can't remember which. So you've got them both corresponding, but you even got quotes from different ones.
Well, and the other ones, the other gospel, John, I say that John was written before 7, because we know from 67 to 70 AD, Jerusalem was laid siege by the Romans. Ultimately, Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. And the reason why I keep insisting this, and it's because hopefully somebody hasn't heard me say this before, but if you have, I'm still going to repeat it, and I don't care. If you go to John chapter 5, verse 2, it says, "Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool which is called by Hebrews Bethesda, having 5 porches." So if John is writing, saying that in Jerusalem right now there is by the sheep gate a pool called Bethesda, which sits right next to, well, it doesn't matter. But the point that I'm making here is that this pool, these porches, would not have existed if they had been destroyed in 70 AD. Because if you look how close these porches are, this pool is to the Temple Mount. And what had happened is that they had built siege walls out around the temples. The Jews had, and the pool of Bethesda is inside of that last siege wall before you get to the temple. So that would have been part of the final destruction of the Jewish temple when that occurred in 70 AD. So to try to say that the Gospels were written later is only because of the prophecy of Christ saying that you tear down this temple, I will build it back up in 3 days. That's the only reason why they pushed the dating the Gospels out past 70, up in the 80s and up into the 90s. That's the only reason why they do that. It's because they want to take away the prophetical ability of Christ that we find in the Gospels.
Yeah, there's also another problem with that. Governors mentioned by Luke that many historians never believe existed were confirmed by the evidence excavated by Sir William Ramsay's archaeological team. Sir William Ramsay was also a non-believer and became a believer when he made his finds. Okay, without a single error, Luke was accurate in naming 32 countries, 54 cities, and 9 islands. From Sir William Ramsay himself, I began with a mind unfavorable to it, but more recently I found myself brought into contact with the Book of Acts as an authority for the topography, antiquities, and society of Asia Minor. It was greatly borne upon me that in various details the narrative showed marvelous truth. Luke is a historian of the first rank. Not merely are his statements of fact trustworthy, the author should be placed along with the very greatest historians.
Amen. Game over. Oh wait, we still have months left. We'll try to. And you compare that. Go ahead, Dio. I'm gonna bring something up here, but go ahead. Or not Dio.
No, I was.
Ed
No,
was saying that. Yeah. Okay. So
Go
if
ahead,
we look.
Dio.
Oh, I didn't have anything to say.
All right.
When you compare that, I mean, when you compare the archaeological evidence of, say, the Quran to like the Bible, there's nothing.
That's what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to do that. Contraire, I'm getting ready to do that. Okay, so let's look at the Gospel of Luke. Okay, the Gospel of Luke has 27,090 words in it, and it mentions 31 locations and 110 separate references. This is the Gospel of Luke. This isn't including the Book of Acts, and that means that you have words per geographical mention. So you would have geographical descriptions mentioned every 246 words in a gospel that contains 27,000 words. Now watch this. The Quran, on the other hand, has 149,000 words compared to 27,000 words. And instead of offering up 31 locations, it offers up 9 locations. And instead of having 110 references, it has only 65 references. So here you have a gospel that has roughly 1/6, little less than 1/6, about 1/5, more than 1/5 of the words. You have over three times as many locations and almost twice as many as references to those locations. Now, remember I said words per minute, 246, every 246 words, you have a geographical mentioned in the Gospel of Luke. In the Quran, that is 2,299 words. You have a mention of a geographical location. That's pathetic.
The thing is with the New Testament, you can actually go dig up these locations. You can go dig up.
Yeah.
You can go dig up. You can't do the same with the Quran. You can't actually go dig up the actual locations because you just don't find the evidence. I mean, like with the recent stuff, they say it's either Byzantine or Sasanian. There's no actual evidence on the coins for like saying, okay, this is. There's no evidence for the Caliphate. There's no evidence for so just when you compare. I mean, like with the Bible, you have the Tel Dan inscription, or you have like the Erastus kind of stuff. Or the recent one was the Church of the Apostles that was recently dug up, and you had there's just so much stuff like regarding say both the Old and the New Testament stuff. It's you just like I said, it makes the Quran look like it's fiction basically.
Okay, I was just corrected by Dr. Kufar Phobia. Quran has under 80,000 words. So I went in there and I fact-checked him. Not because I don't trust him. It's just because I don't like being told I'm wrong. And he's absolutely right. It says here that the Quran has 77,000 words. So I don't know where Dan Gibson got this. Here it is. He got it Rashid Khalifa into English or something. So he offers he just cited it from him. But when you start talking about the number of locations versus the number of words, I mean, it's just mind-boggling as far as what you would expect maybe in a biography or Word of God describing locations. There is no comparison. Saying that. I found one saying 157,000 words. Well, who's right? Okay,
Yeah.
I tell you what. DL, do me a favor. Take your Quran.
If I remember right, the Bible's
DL?
like almost 10 times bigger than the Quran, something to that effect.
It is. DL.
Take my Quran.
Okay, can you do us a favor and start counting the number of words that are in the Quran? And then get back to us when you get done.
Oh, okay, we'll do. You want me to quote the words in the introduction as well?
No, that's
Oh, it's 6,666 words.
what's that?
6,666 words.
Is that
In the
for the
Quran?
Hafs or the Warsh?
Yes.
Okay. Now hold on a second.
I like that. I like the
Okay. How many words are in the? It says the Holy Quran, but there isn't anything holy about it. Okay. According to most accurate statistics, Abdullah Dixon, who's a Shia, says there's 77,807. If you go to some polyglot, he says there's 80,000 words. 77,277, 77,934, 77,437, 77,934. Did I have that? Or no, he was quoting that and saying, oh, you're wrong. It's 77,077. These guys are crazy. And this is, again, it falls back to, which manuscript are you going to be looking at? Is there a difference in the ancient? I know there's differences in the ancient manuscripts of these, the Sunnah, the
I was actually referring to the passages. There's the passages that are in the Quran. Of course, there's varying. I will go through and count them because I know I can't trust a Muslim to tell me that. But it does say the total number of verses in the Quran are 6,666. Now, this is just Korah putting this out there. But some scholars of Islam said that there are 6,236 verses in the Quran. Yeah, that's what I was actually talking about. So,
yeah,
it's
crazy.
I'll count them.
Okay, so here we again. If you go to the geographical references, if you go to the Gospel of Matthew, Jerusalem is mentioned 12 times. Gospel of Mark, it's mentioned 11 times. Gospel of Luke, 32 times. Gospel of John, 13 times. And then it gives some, let's see, these Gnostic sources. Even the Gnostic sources mention it more times than the Quran. If you go to the Quran, the number of times it mentions Jerusalem it doesn't mention Jerusalem, the most important city of the Jews.
Wow.
It does not mention Jerusalem. However, it does mention the most important city, what do they call it? The mother of all cities, one time. It by name. It mentions one time. 48:24 mentions it.
What you're talking about, Becca? That's not Mecca.
Let
me see the verse.
No,
let me see the
Becca.
Arabic.
Okay, would you guys quit fact checking me? Hold on.
It's Bacca. B-A-C-C-A.
That's
Bacca.
right.
48:24. Hold on. Let's go here. 48:24. I'm just reading this from this book. My God, you guys are vicious to me today.
Yeah,
we've
we're the
looked,
hounds
man.
of heaven, buddy.
We've looked at this.
That's why you got us here.
It's Bacca. B-A-K-K-A.
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
not
are
Mecca.
all over. No.
They want to correct Becca. They want to correct. They made like an article in Saudi 2 years ago to correct this error.
Yep, they want to change. They want to change it.
Yeah, it's not Mecca.
No, it's not Mecca.
Lie.
I know. See their
Okay,
translations.
All right, gunfighters. Let's take another shot here.
No, it's written in Arabic. No, it's written in Arabic. Dear Arabic Makkah.
For your hands, for them, Mecca.
Yes, Arabic. Eric, you don't know the Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric. On this page, you do not know the Arabic.
Okay.
They've changed
All right. So it
it.
does say the Valley of Becca in 396. Let's take a look and see what that one says. 3. And what I say, 66 or 96? I said 96, didn't I? All right. I don't have this up on the screen. Come on, Kaffer. Get it up here on the screen. All right. So you get it up here on the screen, and it says, speak the following. Abraham, he was not well, it doesn't say. Do I got that right? 396, 395, that's why. Maybe the Quran is right. Maybe I'm one of those losers. That's right. Okay.
This one is Becca.
It says Mecca here at that Mecca, Becca, and
No, in
Becca.
Arabic.
In Arabic, it's the Becca. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
John?
but in the English, it's saying Becca. You're showing it. Yeah.
We actually can't compare with the manuscript whether this has actually been changed over the time. So yeah, we.
Okay.
It's Becca.
Is that it right there, John? Is that?
Yeah, it's right. Becca. It's right.
That's Becca. Okay.
John,
And the translators were trying to hide the
John, does the diacritical marks make any difference?
there is equal.
Oh, I know what it was, John. You were telling me, you told us, I think it was you that came on here and showed us by adding like a circle on the corner of the letter, it changes it from a B to an M. Am I correct?
That's very easy.
So if they were going to go in and redact that back into this book, it would have been very easy for them to change it from Becca to Mecca.
Like half circle.
Like what?
Half circle. They add half circle in letter B.
Okay. Now, okay, so let me ask you this. What other evidence is there for the existence of Mecca in the 7th century? And I'm not just asking John that. I'm asking for anybody else.
There isn't. I think Sneaker's Corner, they did a video.
There's what?
Sneaker's Corner, there was a recent video that I think Jay and others have done on that subject.
Yeah, they're challenging. They're outright challenging these guys at Sneaker's Corners and other places to show us the evidence for where we find Mecca in any literature, any ancient literature whatsoever, or any type of archaeological evidence for it. I mean, are they digging in Mecca today?
No, they are not. It is forbidden to dig in Mecca.
Well, why would it be? Why would they forbid it? Why would they forbid that? I mean, that seems like they would want to dig up evidence.
No, you cannot go dig in Mecca. That is taboo, buddy.
Here's why. There's no. I'm absolutely right. Here's why there's no. Well, there is digging going on in Mecca. It's right here. Here it is.
The wrong type.
They're having to build all these skyscrapers around the Kaaba. There is digging going along because in order to build a skyscraper, you have to dig.
And they're finding nothing.
Exactly. That's the point. They're finding nothing. Mecca means wasn't the valley? No, Becca's the Valley of Weeping. Mecca's the Valley of the Unicorns, I think, is what it means.
Yeah, Becca is in Petra.
And a first antitype of, gosh, there's an echo here.
I don't see anybody. Dominic, are you? Well, let's mute Dominic. All right, now do you hear an echo, Connie?
Nope.
Yeah, it's Dominic. It's Dominic. You're busted, Dominic.
No, I still hear it.
How about now?
Okay. Testing,
Am I echoing, or are you echoing, or am I?
No, I can't be echoing.
No, it's you're echoing.
I know I'm echoing, but I mean, it's not on my side. I have everything off. I don't even.
Well, I know that.
Okay, I'm not echoing no more.
Okay, I know for a fact I'm not echo. There's no echo here. I know for a fact.
What did Dominic just get finished saying?
I don't know. We muted him because
you were echoing.
This doesn't help a woman.
Well, what were you saying, Dominic? Dominic, can you come back up and repeat what you said there?
Because you said there was no archaeological evidence. One of the guys was bringing up was it Alexander the Great?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember now.
Alexander the Great actually went through the Arabic Peninsula, and so did the Romans. They called Mecca, or they called that region Arabic deserta, because they knew there was nothing there. So anybody stating that Mecca was even around during Alexander the Great's time, or even during the Roman time, because they had to build a road. Alexander the Great actually had to build a road from the side of things, because literally most of their army got defeated during that time period. So there's no evidence in antiquity for Mecca.
Yeah, Mecca is a foreshadowing of the abomination that sets up desolation.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, Windhill is saying that I think this is what Windhill is saying, is that we have Mecca mentioned on a map of Ptolemy in the 1st century, and that's not true. That's not.
There's no 7th
No,
century.
that is
10th
not
century,
accurate at
so
all.
there's no way that there can be a 1st century map.
Give the reference, buddy.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah,
the
I would-
reference.
They
Come
And I,
on.
I don't. Okay, now hold on.
another
Just in all
city.
fairness, I don't know if that's what they're saying. I wasn't. I just happened to glance down into the chat and I saw that there, and I've gone in and I've actually looked at that claim, and I'm not exactly sure how it comes out, but if you look at what Ptolemy is referencing, it's a river that's much further north, going inland than Mecca. It simply can't be Mecca. Yes, it's on the map close to Yathrib. No, it's not. No,
Yeah,
okay. If it is, please cite it in chat. There, I would like to see this map of Ptolemy that has Mecca on the map.
Yeah, they're referring to the Makaraba, which is not in the area of Mecca, and they're saying that was another name for Mecca. I mean, these guys just make up anything. Becca is Mecca. Makarabo is Mecca. Spaghetti is Mecca. I mean,
Yeah, I will tell Windhill blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
give
okay.
us the book, the page, chapter, the author. Come on, buddy, put it out there. Let's see it.
Mickey Mouse is Mecca also.
We're calling your bluff, Windhill.
I mean, it does have an M. You got a point there. It's got an M. Actually, it's got two. My understanding is the guy never even went to the area. The map supposedly.
Ptolemy, or
yeah, he was never in the area.
Yeah, no way. I mean, Mecca didn't exist in the 1st century. Are you kidding me?
And if it existed, which we know it doesn't, why hasn't there been any archaeological evidence? I mean, if you have a city where people reside in, they usually leave something behind.
And why don't we have serious biblical references to Mecca or Bacca? Where are those biblical
You also have
references?
other writers such as people like Herodotus and other kind of like writers from, I can't remember the other Arabic writers at the time. They don't.
And then the church fathers.
Yeah, so there would be other.
So the church fathers are totally silent on this. Come on, guys, give us one church father. This is Bacca existed.
They changed it to hide the fact that Muhammad was coming from Mecca.
Oh, stealth Bacca.
It's on you to prove which city is. No, it's not. It's you. It's no. Come on now. This is not how scholarship is done.
Hey, bro, you made the claim.
You're making this assertion that it's on Ptolemy's map. You need to go in and show us where on Ptolemy's map this is. Now, that's just how these things. You just can't make an assertion and then expect everybody to believe it when we've come out and seen the evidence for this where it's not true. Come on. Now.
Hey, now your Windhill, your mom was a guy, and it's on you to prove that. Okay, thank you.
The actual burden of proof. The burden of proof is on him. If he comes up with that, he should be able to.
There are many cities in history disappeared. We can't find them now. Then maybe Makoroba or whatever is not a city now. He should prove the opposite, not our. Not this.
All right, here we are. Here we go, guys.
But if you look at the map, it's not in the right location. So
Jay Smith to the rescue. Jay Smith to the rescue. Right here. This was from Jay's class. This is why you guys need to come on Monday nights with me. Okay, he writes this in 41 to 147. He gives the coordinates.
Name scholarship, Windhill.
Right, for Makaraba, which isn't Mecca, but here he gives this for it. And notice this is his right. No, okay, it's southwest. So it's not there.
Just
The southwest of Yathrib. Mecca is southwest.
Busted.
So it's kind of hard. If you think this is Mecca, then he's only off by a couple hundred miles. That's
I mean,
not
what's a
bad
couple
for
hundred
when we
miles?
start using Islamic
Wind Hill. Yes, Jay Smith is a scholar, my friend. You need to go check it out. He does have a PhD.
Yeah, you see, this is okay. Well, he's a liar, even though he showed me on a map that I'm not right. He's a liar because he doesn't have a PhD in basket weaving or whatever the heck that he thinks is all the places have deviant coordinates. Whatever. All right.
No, that map was really not.
Well, here's what I would also here. Okay, let's just do this. Why not? Let's take a look at some of the things that are described about Mecca. Let's just take a look at this. It's up here on the screen. We've got about 5 minutes left in the show, so let's just put your Quran and your Allah to rest. Let's see here. It's mentioned one time in 4824, Mecca. And then, of course, the Becca thing is in 398 or 396. I'm sorry. And then whoops, sorry about that. Let's look at start looking at these other references to it. Abraham was there. No. Adam and Eve were there. Look at that. Adam and Eve were in Mecca. God only knew that. Why wasn't that in any history books, I wonder? Mecca became the center for the Qibla in 624. That's funny. You know what's funny about that? None of the Qiblas faced Mecca for the first 100 years of Islam. That's weird. But we won't be making any sense of that one today. Let's see here. Let's see. Mecca is referenced as the place of the prophet, is in a valley, a parallel valley with a stream. Outside the ruins is a pillar of salt. Didn't see. Is there any pillars of salt in Mecca? Has anybody seen any pillars of salt there? Has anybody found any salt in Mecca?
Jeez.
Oops, nope. Nothing. It has
Nope.
Fields. You mean there are fields in Mecca? There's trees in Mecca? There's olive trees in Mecca? What? Who knew? I didn't know there was olive trees in Mecca. I tell you what, let's do some little digging there and see if we can find some of those olive trees. I mean, they would leave spores, pores, seeds, or something there, of course. So come on, if you really want to have, I tell you what, if you want to come on and, what's this guy's name?
Yes, Wind Hill, please come on and educate us. We're really interested in knowing what you know, bro. Bring your references, please.
Okay, yeah. If you want to do that, we'd be more than happy. We don't have any time today, but shoot me an email. Here, let me put my email in the chat here. Eric Zekifer at gmail.com.
Yep.
I'll bring you up.
Waiting.
I'll let you present your facts, and I'll give you equal time. I'm always courteous to guests on this show, and I'll treat you with respect, dignity. I won't yell at you. And I'll
might
give you,
though.
Well, I'm just saying I won't do it. Now I know Ed or DL can be. He can get on you too. Him and Chris both. Anyway, that's okay. They're very direct people and they're good. They're great. I mean, they're really good debaters. I mean, that's the fact. That's the fact of the matter. All right, guys. We're going to call it a show. This Tuesday, I and the family are going to Kafiristan West, and I will not be here for Tuesday. However, the burden of proof is on you for claiming a shift. What the heck are you talking about? Show us historical source. Show you historical source. I just showed you a historical source.
Dude,
what the heck is your problem?
Quit running, okay? Quit being dumb.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I would like? I would like Windhill to show me a map prior to the 7th century with Mecca on it.
90 seconds.
Any archaeological evidence that they've dug up in Mecca demonstrated that it existed in the 7th century or prior to the 7th century. Anything. Just anything. What you would demand from a Christian, we'd actually not be hypocritical and do it yourself. But anyway,
can't even find any written thing about Mecca.
No, there's nothing there. But they find it in the Hadith, written 200 years later. Okay, let me go ahead and end my blog talk. Here we go, my blog talk radio folks. We will upload this audio to you.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Goodbye. Okay, so Tuesday, Chris Claus is going to be talking about salvation in Islam. He'll be hosting the show. Yes. Okay. He'll go ahead and email me, my friend, and we'll set something up. And we will be back here next Tuesday. Everybody that's come today, we've had a full panel. I've had people. I've been in all kinds of notifications saying, you got your maximum people. You got 10 there, and nobody else can come in. And then it gives you this ad. It says, if you go to the professional route, you can get 12 people instead of 10. Well, it's twice as much a month. I ain't doing that. If I can't
twice
get
as much for 2 extra. Wow.
Yeah, no what.
Yeah, I'm not. It's $25 a month is the plan that I'm on. It's $50 for the other one. So
you would think it would say 10 more, right? That you could have 9 more.
Well, you would think for the money.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nazareth didn't exist before the 2nd century. Really? Oh, really?
All right.
Well, all right. All right, guys. We will be here. I'll be back here next Sunday. I'll have a topic. Maybe it'll be this topic here. As a matter of fact, let's make it that topic. Let's make it the topic. Mecca. Did it exist prior to the 7th century? And Windhill, you are more than welcome to come if you would like to. I would be more than happy.
And bring your sources.
Yeah, bring your sources with you. And Ptolemy's not going to help you, but I'm just saying, if you want to bring Ptolemy,
it has to be reputable sources.
And also, by the way, it's not the center of the Earth. If you look at the grid lines of the Earth, longitude, latitude, nope.
Okay.
What, Mecca, center of the Earth?
Yeah, they claim that Mecca is the center of the Earth.
It's echoing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Well, they're contradicting the prophet Ezekiel.
Okay, let's have this
What
conversation.
is the center of the Earth? Did you look at?
I'm the center of the Earth because I'm the host of the show. I say we got to go, guys.
Israel's the center of the Earth. Ezekiel.
Oh, by the way, Eric.
Yes.
Have a good night.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. God bless you all. And you make my Sunday afternoons a joy. I really do appreciate you coming. We'll see you next Sunday. And come see Chris on Tuesday. God bless.
God bless.
Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, I think you forgot to end it.
All right, y'all ready for round 2 now?
Because I'm a rookie. I know. You suck. All right. Sorry about that. Guys, we will see you Tuesday or Sunday. God bless.
All right,
there, I got it right. All right. Bye.